Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back on our Fortnite video. And in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to drop more high kill games here in Season 9. I'm going to be covering everything you guys need to know and to do in order to drop these high kill games very consistently. And before we get into the video, I have a weekly V-Buck giveaway. I'm going to be giving away V-Bucks every single Friday. And if you guys want a chance to win some free V-Bucks, all you guys need to do is to drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel and as well subscribe to my second channel. I post a ton of really good content on there, so make sure you guys do subscribe. Turn on my post notifications and as well leave a comment down below of your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. And if you guys would like to support me as a creator in the item shop, all you have to do is go over to the item shop, go into the bottom right hand corner, support a creator, and type in my code. My code is Young Humor. Type it in and you guys will have me supported as a creator. And alright guys, let's get to the video. Alright, so for the gameplay you do see in the background, I'd end up dropping 17 kills, which is definitely a high kill game here for Season 9. I've had, I think, 1 or 2 20 bombs. Yeah, I think I've had at least 2 or 3 20 bombs, which are very good gameplay. I think I posted 1 or 2 on my channel already, but for this gameplay, I do have a 17 kill game, and for this game in particular, I did land at Tilted Towers. So the first thing I want to talk about is you don't even have to land tilts. It's one thing I feel like I've noticed, and I've had a few games where I could have dropped easily 20 kills going to Paradise Palms, and for whatever reason, I was able to get like 6 or 7 kills off the spawn, then immediately hit retail and then get more kills from there. So what I've noticed, I feel like you don't even have to go to these hot drops like Tilted Towers or Mega Mall to even get these high kill games. And I've also had a lot of success going to Pleasant Park. Just going to those areas is going to allow you to get a lot of kills, and you don't even have to go, like I said, to Tilted Towers and Mega Mall every single game to drop these high kill games. I think Tilted Towers is a really good way to go, for the reason being you can get quite a bit of kills in Tilted. A lot of people come here. You can usually walk out of Tilted if you're playing quick enough with at least 4 to 6 kills, sometimes even 7 or more. And then right after that, you can immediately use the Slipstream. And I usually take the Slipstream over to Loot Lake, and then for sometimes after I get a kill from there, I can use the Slipstream to get all the way over to about halfway towards Salty, and I can use the other Slipstream that's right in front of me to get all the way to Salty, maybe even retail if I wanted to. But the thing is, in Season 9, really the main way to get a lot of high kill games a lot faster is using the Slipstream to get around the map quickly. And I know it's kind of obvious that I said this, but there's one thing in particular that I think you guys need to start doing if you want to be able to drop high kill games consistently very easily. Is not even use the Slipstreams to get around the map very quickly. I think the majority of people you're going to be running into are going to be around these areas. And not always necessarily all the time that they're right on top of the Slipstream, but they're going to be near it in a pretty good way. And you don't want to be right on top of the Slipstream, and the reason being is people like to run away in it all the time. It's super annoying. Get into a gunfight, you make a guy have like 50 or 70 HP, and then you spend the next 5 minutes chasing that guy down across the map. Next thing you know, he's in retail, then he's back in Salty, then he's in Tilted. So it's just super annoying to deal with. So I feel like the majority and a really good tip when you're fighting players is try to fight players a little bit away from the Slipstream. I don't mean it really has to be that far, but maybe even just enough where even if you're in a gunfight, they can't just run away if they wanted to, and you can use that to your advantage and get a lot of kills a lot easier. And one thing I've noticed, I've seen a lot of people around the areas where the Slipstream that I'm in right now, and I feel like a lot of people are going to be on the salty/dusty side of the map. I found a ton of people in this area in the mid game, and I think this is a really good place to go, especially if you're trying to get like 4 or 5 kills or even more in the mid game. I think this is a very good idea, and I found consistently a lot of people going to these locations, so I think that is really the main point. If you want to be able to drop a lot of kills a lot of the times, you want to try to put yourself in a position where you can consistently find the most amount of people, and around these areas I feel like you're going to have the best luck in finding the most amount of people, because a lot of people are going to be around these areas. They're constantly flying in and out. And the thing that I do like about the thing in the middle is because not a lot of people can just camp in the Slipstream and try to run away. You can shoot, I mean, really easily if someone's gliding up this. If you're on top or maybe you're at the bottom, you see someone gliding up, you can easily get 4 or 5 shots in them with your assault rifle and completely drain them of their shield, completely drain them of their HP. So people just can't consistently just keep running up and down and then camping in it like you can in the other Slipstreams. So that's just one thing to keep in mind, is those are very useful to be around because people can't just constantly run away, and even if they do, you're going to have a lot of wide open shots and you're going to be able to do a lot of damage a lot quicker. And one thing that I have noticed when it comes to getting a lot of these high kill games is I've had a lot of games where I've gotten 15 plus kills, what I think is considered a high kill game. Some of you guys might consider maybe 10 plus, 12 plus, 13 plus, it really doesn't matter. Whatever you consider a high kill game, most of the times the best luck I've had or the most amount of kills I've gotten has been in the late game, because early game maybe I pick off like 5 people if I have a really good start, 6 or 7, and then in the mid game is usually when it's the slowest. I maybe only find, you know, like 3-4 people, sometimes 5 if I'm really lucky. Even in this game, I think I had about 5 off spawn, and then I only had 3 in the mid game, and now there's only 15 people left. So with 15 people minus my team, it says 13 people. I was still able to kill 9 out of 13 people in the end game. So that's just one really important thing to keep in mind. Even if you don't get a lot of kills off the start, you can still pick it up in the mid game or even in the late game and still drop a really high kill game. Because even if I only picked off like 4 people between the early game and mid game, considering this gameplay, I still would have had 13 kills, which is still a very good game. So you can definitely pick off a lot of people in the end game, and that's what I would focus mainly on if you want to go for these high kill games. Of course, you want to have a good start and try to pick up the most amount of people you can off the start. But what typically happens, especially for me, is I'm going to kill a lot of people in the end game, and the reason for this, I think is pretty obvious, is a lot more people in the end game are going to be playing a little bit slower. They're going to be boxed up, as you can see in this gameplay. You have a guy boxed in here. I think there's a guy boxed in a little bit to the left and then one to the right. So people are going to be boxed in a little bit more. They're not going to be as aggressive as in the early game. So in the late game, I feel like you're able to pick off a lot more people, but it can be a little bit more difficult because people later in the game are going to have more mats. They're going to have more shield, and more times than not, they're going to have really good weapons, scars, guns like that. So in the late game, the people you're going to be running into are going to have better weapons and stuff like that. But I feel like in the late game, like I said, people are going to be playing a little bit slower, so you're going to be able to drop a lot more kills in the late game. So that's what I would definitely focus on if you want to go for a lot of high kill games. And also, I think Season 9 is probably one of the best seasons to go for high kill games, and the reason being there is the reboot van in the game, meaning that people are going to get rebooted. So I think in solos it's going to be a little bit more difficult. A lot less people are going to be alive because there's no one can get rebooted. So the second you die, you're pretty much dead. There's nothing else that can happen. But a game mode like duos and squads is going to be a lot easier to get a lot more kills. And I even said this, or it's even true back in the day and back in like Season 5, Season 6, and Season 7. Just because if they leave an area in the early game, there's going to be a group of 4 or a group of 2 rather than just always a group of 1. And even now, since there's reboot vans, there's going to be a lot more people alive a lot later in the game. So with all that, I think honestly Season 9 is one of the best seasons to go for high kill games. A lot more people are alive, or even if they're not alive, the second you hear reboot van, and trust me, they're really loud, you're able to rush that player. They don't spawn with any more mats, so they're pretty much made for a lot of easy kills. So if you see someone ever get rebooted, get revived, or anything like that, it's a lot of really easy kills. There's not much they can do. They only have a pistol. They aren't granted any mats. I think they used to have it where you got 100 mats after you got respawned, but they took that out, so you basically have 0 mats and a pistol after you get rebooted. So if there's someone nearby, it's going to be very difficult to challenge that gunfight. You're going to have to run away, try to do anything you can not to challenge. So if you're on top of it and you know that there's a player getting rebooted, it's going to be very easy to knock off that player because you're not going to have pretty much anything to fight you. So here in this game, I'm going to be going into the last fight, and the circle is honestly pretty big. A lot of people died early in this game. I feel like if people had lasted a little bit longer, which usually they do, they last a little bit longer, at least in the last few zones. I probably could have dropped an easily 20 kill game, but people died very fast in this game for whatever reason, so I still was able to drop 7 teams surprisingly. But these players were probably typically like the most typical Season 9 players that you ever run into, just camping in a house, camping in a building. So here I'm just RPGing the building, trying to break it up, trying to fight these players, and these players are just being some turtle warriors and just camping in, not trying to fight anything that I was doing. So that was super annoying, but at the same time, I feel like usually a lot of people do this in game, and really there's a few different ways you can counter, but one of the mistakes I think I see a lot of people do is when people are boxed up like that, you're trying to fight them, they allow themselves to get shot from another team. So usually it happens all the time. You try to fight someone like this, camping in a box, camping in a house, doing something like that, and then they get third party from a different team. So one thing you should always do, and one thing that I always keep in mind is when I'm trying to fight a team like this. Of course, in this game, it was the last team, so I didn't have to worry about it. But usually, one thing that I always worry about is people trying to third party and just really trying to focus on that. So a lot of times, even though I'm fighting players like this, I'm being very cautious of my angles from different sides, making sure that even if I do get shot from another player from a different side, at least I know I saw it coming. And I'm always really cautious about snipers, because I've had time and time again where I've and I'm in gunfights like this, I'm on top of a player trying to get shots off and I end up getting sniped. So you never really want to stand still. I think that's a pretty much give me in Fortnite, but a lot of times people really forget it when they're in gunfights too, because they don't really worry about people shooting them from their sides, worry about shooting them from the back. So that's one thing I would also really keep in mind, is just making sure that you're not standing still when you're in gunfights or even when you have high ground, because you never know when there's people from your sides, people behind you always trying to get shots off. And with that being said, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, hope you guys liked it, and if you guys could, make sure you guys do drop a like on this video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on my notifications to be notified for every single new video, and alright guys, I'll see you next video.